with me when I was
Welcome to the David Sack Show. I'm David Sack, and this is the first ever episode of the show. First things first, I would like to thank the Civics for the song Coolidge. That is that awesome intro you just heard. And I'd also like to thank Nick Gibson of DJ Amani Productions. He is the official producer for the show. I could not do this without either of these two groups of people, and that is all. So today on the show, we got Derek Jeter. It's his last game at Yankee Stadium today. We got a little rant that I've got on the Red Bulls. Last night, they had a CONCACAF match. It was an elimination match, and they tied. They had to win, and I have a lot to say on that matter. We got a preview of tonight's football game between that team from Washington and the New York Football Giants. We got pennant race baseball, and if we have time, because we got half an hour, I'm going to give my opinion on the whole Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson thing. So let's jump right in. First of all, as I previously mentioned, my name is David Sack. I'm a humongous sports fan. I always have been. I'm an aspiring sports writer, and honestly, I've always had a lot to say about sports, and so here goes nothing, I guess. I'm going to talk. We got Facebook at The David Sack Show. We have a Twitter at David Sack Show. Reach out to us on there. My ultimate goal for this show is for it to be a completely interactive show. I want your opinion on things, and I want to talk about the things that you want to hear about. I want to be able to answer your questions on my opinion, and so ideally that's where we're going to go. But for now, obviously, we're just trying to build a following, and so I got an agenda for us, and we're going to talk about that. And please tell everyone you know about this show, and I really hope you guys like it. So here we go. The top story for today is the whole Derek Jeter thing. This is his last game at the new Yankee Stadium and in the Bronx, going up against the Orioles, completion, the finale of a 4-game set. And look, I'm a huge Met fan, and I really hate everything about the Yankees. I honestly never liked Jeter. I've always respected him. He is one of the all-time greats, obviously. As a baseball fan, I gotta say I'm rooting for Jeter tonight. I'm rooting for him to make something magical happen. Not even as a baseball fan, just as a sports fan. I want to see that moment. I want to see something that we never forget happen. I was upset that he got that home run for his 3,000th hit. I hate every time I have to see that dive into the stands, but I really do want to see the guy do something today because the Yankees are eliminated from playoff contention. I don't have that worry, and I want to see the guy do something that I never forget. I really, really do. He goes up against Kevin Gausman, who's the Orioles starter tonight. Obviously a very small sample size, but in his career, Jeter 1 for 3 against Gausman with a strikeout, nothing significant, no homers, no RBIs, not even an extra base hit. Gausman on the season, he's been solid, 7-7, 3.57 ERA. And the Orioles right now they're having a lot of fun. They're the second best team in baseball behind the Angels, and they've pretty much they clinched the division a while ago. They're 14 games ahead of the Yankees, which is really remarkable when you probably would compare those two payrolls. They are flat out dominating the American League East right now, and I am looking very forward to seeing them in the postseason. We'll get to that in our pennant race talk a little later in the show. I want to keep this on Jeter. Look, a lot of people I know, most of them Met fans, I'm ashamed to say, have been grilling Jeter recently. They are saying that he's an overrated player. He just got dinky little hits, and that I've even heard things like bum from a Facebook friend who I will not mention, who is a fan of the show on Facebook. I don't want to rip him. But, look, here's all I got to say about Derek Jeter. As I said before, I have always rooted against him. I quite frankly do not like him, but I respect him, and when I hear people call him a bum, that insults me as a baseball fan, because the guy is 6th all-time in hits. He has more hits than Honus Wagner. I really want everyone to think about that. We're talking about Honus Wagner. We're not talking about Joe Schmo on the Pirates years ago. We're talking about the Honus Wagner, the guy whose baseball card's worth all the money. And to call a guy with more hits than Honus Wagner a bum, to me, is ridiculous. Now, if you want to make the claim that this year he really hasn't been very good, I got no argument with you there, because there's no getting around the fact the guy's hitting .253 this year. So, fine. This year, he has not been a very good player. And Buster Olney wrote an article about how this year the Yankees, by having him play all year and keeping him in the number 2 hole, have been focused more on his retirement than winning. And I agree with that. I think it's true. I think he probably deserves to be further down in the lineup. But it's the way, for his career, he is one of the all-time greats. 5 years from now, he will be in Cooperstown. I actually heard, I think it was SportsCenter this morning, that people have already booked rooms for summer of 2019, or is it 2020? It'd be 2020 in Cooperstown. So that shows you something. This guy is definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's without question. It's going to be close to unanimous. You just think of all the moments with him, the flip play to home plate, the diving into the third base stands. This guy has given baseball fans things that they will never, ever, ever forget. And so I mean this from the bottom, the top, and every other part of my heart. I'm going to miss Derek Jeter. He makes the game better. And right now in sports, amid all these scandals with Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson and just all this BS that I always have to hear about, that's where I'm not hearing about a game, I'm hearing about a guy's personal life. Derek Jeter just goes out there and plays baseball, and that's something that I really appreciate. Derek Jeter, you'll be missed, and I sincerely hope that you do well tonight. And in your final 3 games against the Red Sox, that's almost better than having those final 3 games in Yankee Stadium. To have those 3 games in Fenway Park against the Red Sox, as far as the standings, a completely meaningless game with the Red Sox currently 68-89, 26.5 games out of the American League division, and the Yankees obviously done now, but it's going to mean so much to so many people. I know Fenway Park's going to be sold out, and after what the Red Sox did for Mariano Rivera last year, I am really excited to see what they throw out for Jeter this time, because you saw Red Sox fans who many people think are classless. Guess what? You can say what you want about them, but I've been in Fenway Park surrounded by them. They're great fans, and they really know their baseball, and they're going to give Derek Jeter the applause that he deserves. They've hated him, and look, it doesn't have playoff implications, so they don't have to get worked up. And I just think that, you know what? I don't know, to be honest. I know a group of people who are Jeter haters, and I just reading some of the comments on Facebook this morning, it got me a little mad, because you can't, to not have respect for a player of his caliber is insane. He is one of the all-time greats, and by the way, in the American League this year, I have a friend, Mark Berg, who thinks that in the American League this year that Jeter has been the second best shortstop behind Jose Reyes. And if you look around at all the shortstops, you got a case. You really have a case. I'm looking at some box scores right now. I mean, here, the Indians-Royals game. You can make the case for Alcides Escobar of Kansas City, who's hitting .282. I'd probably put up Escobar ahead of Jeter. I'm definitely not going to put this guy Ramirez, who started for Cleveland last night. Alexi Ramirez of the White Sox, honestly, about the same. Alexi Ramirez has never done anything for me. And Detroit, Austin Romine, I know he's not very good. And so Derek Jeter, even to the end, he's retiring at the perfect time. He's retiring at the perfect time because he is done now. He is no longer very good. .253 batting average again. And it's time for him to go. It was an outstanding career, and I will see him in Cooperstown in 5 years. Moving on, we're going to talk about soccer now. And I'll just give an introduction of my soccer fanship. I'm a fan of the New York Red Bulls of the MLS. I really got into soccer during this World Cup. I think it's an outstanding sport, and America needs to catch up with the rest of the world and get into it because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. And a lot of people ask me why I root for the Red Bulls, because the MLS is not a top league. It's not, and I know that. I can't justify rooting for a Premier League team. I watch Premier League games on Saturday mornings. I enjoy them. I can't just pick a random British team. I've never been to England. And the Red Bulls are my hometown team, and I'm going to root for them. And I really root hard for them. I enjoy every game I go to there at the Red Bull Arena. It's a beautiful arena out in Harrison, New Jersey. And that's my fanship of the Red Bulls. Now, yesterday, they had a CONCACAF Champions League match with CD Foz, Club Deportivo Foz from El Salvador. And let's just say it didn't go very well. The Red Bulls needed 3 points from this match to stay alive in group play so that their match against Montreal would be for all the marbles if they had won by 2 goals. I don't want to get into that because now it's irrelevant. And the Red Bulls had been playing mostly reserves recently in these CONCACAF Champions League matches, and I understand that, middle of a season, a lot of the Red Bulls' top players are older, but now it's an elimination match, and I was really under the impression that they were going to be playing their top players, the Thierry Henrys, Tim Cahill, Bradley Wright Phillips, the goalie Luis Robles. And it was already a tiring experience trying to watch this match. It was on Fox Sports 2, which I get. They took it off that and they put it on Fox Soccer Plus, a channel I would have to pay $15 a month for. And so I found a way to watch it either on the computer or on the Spanish broadcast on the TV on Univision Deportes, and I went with the computer. The match started at 10 o'clock, so I stayed up till midnight watching this dreck, this awful, awful match, because this franchise simply doesn't seem to care at all about winning, and about winning these CONCACAF Champions League matches. No Henry, not even available as a reserve. No Bradley Wright Phillips, a guy who's right now looking pretty hot to break the MLS single-season scoring record. He wasn't even available as a reserve. Neither was Tim Cahill. Now, Tim Cahill, I actually don't have a problem with. I think that he's been lousy this year, and I think it's time for him to go back to Australia. He's no longer good enough for the MLS. And I got the lineup right now, and when you see it on paper, it's really something to see. They started Armando, who I've never heard of. He's on the practice squad. They started Darian Perinelli, Richard Eckersley, to name a few. Sayer Sene, who's supposed to be a prospect, has never done a thing for me. I see him, and I'm completely unimpressed. Sene took 2 shots yesterday, none of them on goal, of course. And then off the bench, guys who were available, Kosuke Kimura, who didn't play, Matt Miziaga, who didn't play, Eric Alexander, who played 29 minutes. Alexander I do like. Stevenson, who played 73 minutes. He came in quickly for Lloyd Sam. Marius Obekop and Ruben Bover Izquierdo. And the goalies they had available, they started Ryan Miera and Santiago Castano available on the bench. This is freaking embarrassing. Absolutely and totally embarrassing. And this franchise needs to get with the program here. These international competitions are how you gain prestige around the world. That's what you have to do in soccer. This is a world game. This is not just an American sport. It's not. And it's ridiculous to me. It's just absolutely ridiculous that they couldn't even beat this team from El Salvador, who really is no good. They're not. They're such a joke that when they played the Red Bulls at Red Bull Arena, they couldn't get their coach and some players into the country. And, you know, the future of this franchise, I don't know if it's very bright, because you have very, very noisy neighbors coming in to New York City. You have